Hello, it's been a while since I've made a video about using repertoire, and now that we have labels in place, I thought I'd make a new one. So we get a question a lot about how come we can't have folders in repertoire, and one reason would be because when we use the search field up here, the more folders there are, the longer the search takes, and the less reliable the search is. So it's just much easier to keep everything for repertoire in this area and then organize it by using labels. So you can tag as many labels as you want on any assignment and categorize them that way. The labels are teacher specific, so if you are part of an academy, know that if you share your repertoire with other teachers in your school, that those labels will stay with you and not go to other teachers, and that way each teacher can decide how they want to organize their repertoire. Another thing to know about labels is that they do sync across your repertoire. So if you change the title of a label here by clicking these three dots, you can edit or delete, but if you do any action here, it will update them automatically in all of the assignments that label shows up. Everybody gets to also see an unlabeled assignment tab here, so you can find those that still need labels. You can also create new labels right here. Also be aware that labels only show up for teachers. They are not viewable for students. So once you assign it to a student, those labels don't show up for the student. Another thing that's been added to this repertoire section since the last video I made is that not all of your repertoire has to load before you can view it. So it used to take a long time because you can have thousands of assignments. And so now you scroll and it loads more, and you scroll and it loads more. So it won't show everything until you scroll all the way to the bottom, and at the bottom it'll say you've made it to the end. So just know that in your search bar up here, it will still search all of your repertoire, even if you've only loaded part of your repertoire in this list. So let's walk through what it's like to add a label to something. So I know that I want to have a getting started label. I also want to have a label for piano adventures. So in previous videos, I've shown how I organize my repertoire so it all shows up alphabetically, and so that the page numbers show up in order that they are in the book. So you could create labels for each book if you don't want to have to set it up this way. Another label I'd like to create is equally leveled duets. So I'll do that now, and I'll just call it equal duets, and we'll choose that color. Okay, so now I've got three labels here. Let's go ahead and add some. So I have this 101 section that I created so that they would always show up at the top. And that would be for things that I want to remember that I created that aren't necessarily part of a method book, that I just want to be able to quickly give to a student. So the very first time I teach a brand new student about a metronome, I'm going to give them this one. So let's open up this, and I'm going to put my getting started here. You can choose multiple labels if you'd like. This one is just going to be getting started for now. Okay, and then don't click this. You got to scroll down and click save or update. Okay, so now you can see the label here. You can also see the color. So let's do the same thing here. I'm going to choose getting started, and I'm going to scroll down and save that. Okay, so let's do a couple of piano adventures. Well, rather than scrolling all the way to the P section, let me just type in piano adventures, and I've got lots of them here. Now we hope to be able to do a select all and add a label right now. That's not available, but we hope to be able to get there someday. So you could do this, and you can assign it to a student with clicking multiple. You can also use this to duplicate, but if you want to add a label, you do have to open each assignment. So I'm going to choose piano adventures, and remember to go down to the bottom and update. Okay, so a little bit tedious right now, but we're going to get better at that. So on my account here, you'll see add to my school on this side, and that's because I have a demo account set up for working with schools. If you belong to a school, this button will show up here, and you'll be able to add it to the school's repertoire. So we see My Repertoire for individual teachers, schools repertoire, and then Tonara's examples is the things that Tonara has loaded in for teachers to share. So if you are part of a school, you'll be able to click Add to My School, and then it will show up in Schools Repertoire, and you can download from there. Okay, so we're coming down here, and I remember that I have an equally leveled duet right here. Oh, and I can't do that. I got to open up one at a time. So here we go. Equal duets. Scroll down, update, and then the other one was right here. Equal duets. So if you can kind of sit down and figure out what works best for your studio on what kinds of labels you'd like so that you can kind of get a whole list going. That way when you go through one at a time with your assignments, you can kind of do a whole bunch all at once. Because technically I could go through and do all the piano adventures and then go back and realize, oh yeah, I wanted an equal duets one, but it'd be faster if I create my labels first and then go in and add multiple labels at once. So now that I've got a few labels showing up in here, I can click each label here and it will just pull up those assignments that have those. Oh, and see now there's two here, so I have to get rid of one of them because it has to show up both. And I'm searching for piano adventure, so I have to clear that. So a few things to be aware of if things aren't showing up. So if you have nothing in your search bar and no other labels selected, again, I've got two, it's not going to work, so I got to go back. Okay, so that's how that works. We got rid of showing all of the filters all at once because most people weren't using these as much. They're still there, but if you toggle back and forth here, then it won't take up as much of your screen space. Okay, so I'm going to erase that. I'll go back to the main screen. And then I'll show you what it looks like when I add to my school. So let's add to my school here. Add to my school. It's just going to make a copy of it. Okay, so then when I go into the schools repertoire, then you will see that there is nothing showing up here because I am the admin for my school. They will show up under unpublished assignments. So individual teachers can select which assignments they want to have show up in the school's repertoire, but ultimately they have to be approved by the administrator. So assignments added to the school repertoire will be visible only after the admin has approved or published them. So if I was the admin and I didn't know what this assignment is, I'm going to be able to open it up and view what it is and then decide for myself, and then I could choose publish. And then I could choose publish for that one too. Now, when I click on unlabeled, I can see this. We have no labels created for the school yet. Let's go ahead and do one of those. Let's say beginners could be another label that we want to use. Notice how in my school area, my school's repertoire, I have different labels selected than if I'm in my repertoire. So I'm going to open this up and I'm going to choose the beginners tab, and then I have to scroll down to update. And let's do another one here, beginners, and update. Okay, let's do at least one other that doesn't have a tag. So let's pick this one. Whoops, I meant to do add to my school. Okay, I'm going to go back to my school. I am the admin, so I see this. I'm going to click publish. Okay, so now when I click on schools repertoire, and I click on unlabeled assignments, or I can click on that, I can see that there. So if I click there, now I can see all of my assignments that are in my school's repertoire. Okay, so once a teacher logs in that is not the admin, they will see this list here. They will not be allowed to edit any of them. Okay, I can because I'm the administrator, but they wouldn't be able to edit them, but they would just be able to add to their repertoire. So they could take what's in the school's repertoire, add to their repertoire, and edit for their own use. So to recap, we've talked about how the new labels feature works in both the regular account and in the Academy account, and also reminders about how to search for things and stay organized in Tonara Studio. Thanks.